There's a verse in the Bible, allow me to preach, that says,
Preach.
test me with your giving. What are in your thoughts during COVID?
So right now, someone can look at me and be, I don't know why, whenever I meet people around, then they're like, I used to be tiny. I used to be tiny as you before. And then I'm like, you were here.
Tell you something about having a big body.
Yeah.
I feel like when I was in first year, there was not so much talks around being curvy and having a big body. But then when I went back to school,
It was the thing.
it was the thing. I'm like, oh, so you like us fat people? I normally don't like saying that, but that was the connotation back then.
Imagine, I am the only white guy, dude, in school, but I'm still a part of the mischief that happens in school. Wouldn't you find that amazing?
That is cool.
Exactly.
Kendi, even when you speak in Kiswahili, it just sounds like,
Bougie.
Yes, bougie Kiswahili.
For some reason I meet people and then I'm like, yeah, maybe they mean mse wapa hivi wako like, but unact ka bombe fulani. I'm like, do I? DISDAT. I realized I'm covering my insecurities on being a tomboy. You're like, okay, why you, for example, why you dressed like that? I'm a tomboy. Why you walking like that? I'm a tomboy. It's not like anything you bring at me, I'm a tomboy. Why I had deep voice.
I can notice.
I had a very deep.
Set me deep side.
Yeah, same info. So what I had.
Can you do a demo for a deep voice?
Unaona sasa afanye deep voice alafu ananiambia nifanye. Si anachoma. Si angeniambia nifanye
Could you
before.
try? Just one take.
It will come out. Ipe dakika moja mwambie. You're making me now sorry. You're making me now go more surprised.
You have to summon it like the ancestors.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So Shailene, which are some of the things that you did to cover up some of the insecurities that you had?
Me?
Yes.
And we have a long story. I'm actually writing a biography as of now.
All right.
Yeah. You will be interested in it.
Why will I be interested in it?
Because it will be flabbergasting.
Do I feature anywhere?
You might, if you talk to me nicely.
Wow.
Some of the things I did to hide my insecurities. See, I think for me, I have grown up as a... I remember people... Kafati, I don't know. That was me. Yes, all through.
Yeah.
I remember the only time nilikuwa nafanya KCP. Nikakuja 1 week, I was back to shining.
I like how you're saying it.
Like ukipata tu piece kidogo.
Yeah. So what I remember even like up to first year when I was in campus. So I used to, you see the things Candy is putting on.
Yeah.
And then as girls, kuna tunaita waterfalls. There's these big sweaters and flowy. So they hide you visually. I used to do that a lot. And what else? I would wear a dress and I'm still wearing a bomber jacket on top. And it appeared as ushamba, but really it was just
new covering.
I wasn't
confident
in my own skin. Yeah, and was it fun? I don't know. It was like being in your own bubble. Like no one is looking at you, not causing any attention.
Yeah.
No one is like no one can know Micheline. You get.
Yani, you could easily, somebody could easily pass you.
Exactly, and that's what I wanted because I was just comfortable in that space, and it was. I wanted if Shailene spoke, if Shailene was outside, it's more of a wow, uko, you get
you don't
once
want
in a
the
while
spotlight on you.
Exactly,
I am here.
Equal to once in a while. I loved being.
Chini ya maji.
Yes. Did you have any insecurities, Ghost, growing
Before
up?
we talk about my insecurities, if I had any, how do you all come from that? Because you're all these amazing young women.
I mean, thank you.
And you're confident talking about them. Once you talk about something, that is something that you've put behind you.
Yeah.
Okay. The eyes are on me. So I don't know. I used to be in the two worlds.
Yeah.
In school, you're being referred to as a tomboy. You're supposed to know everything trending from me. And at home, everyone is looking at you like, you're this lady queen up IV.
Yeah.
You are this person who's doing this. I feel like it's ilikuja tu ika. It's, I would say I kind of still bounce katikati the two places. But now I don't bounce on tomboy and girlish. I just bounce on, this is my background and this is where I'm at. So as much, I don't think there's any, as in through umefika high school, you're like having girls around you, bro, you're not going to walk like that, be like this. Then you're interacting with people, they're like, yo, but then we notice you're tomboy. I'm like, So
you used to feel some type of when someone actually called you a tomboy?
no, see, it was to be my cover. Let me give you a story. There's this time I was shaved in Form 2.
Shaved?
Yeah, my hair was chopped
By
off.
student?
No, by principal.
What did you do?
No, story for another day.
Okay.
Anyway,
There must be
so
backstory.
when I go back home, I have this photo. I put on this time, is it trousers are combat? They were the thing. So I put on this combat trouser and this like rubbers and this kind of top. And then I took my cousin's baggy jacket. And then I'm like, I have to go to church because we're back home. Then I'm meeting my friends and they're like, yo. So I was now even forcing the tomboy vibe to come out.
Was
Because
it from a place of anger?
no, it was like, bro, I'm shaved. Nakuja kuelezea aje nimenyola. So I'm like, yo, I'm just having the
That was
tomboy
the last step for
vibe.
you.
So I'm like, no, I'm just like, how I'm explaining, bro, nywele yako. So now I'm just having a tomboy vibe. So for me to cover the fact that only nywele, I can be.
And you felt bad looking at her, right?
It was one of those I didn't give a shit about it.
So they did your feedback.
The fact that nilikuwa nimenyoa the whole primary, I got to high school. I had very good hair which grows super fast. So you may grow, then mistake is here, umenyolewa. You're getting back to now your environment in your kifikanga home. I was always braiding my hair, blah blah blah. Now umerudi umenyolewa. So how do we get to explain that? I'm like, I just now force the full tomboy vibe out. Then everyone meeting, I'm like, yeah, you're looking like. You don't need utauliza hata mbona umenyolewa. I'm like, yeah, it's tomboy. So do you need to ask anything? No, it's okay. So I used to cover it. I just grew out of it. It's not gone, but I'm too girlish right now. I feel like I'm too girlish.
Was there that flip of a switch moment where you're like, okay, now I need to get out of
No.
and be more of a girly girl?
No, it came yenyewe. Sinakwambia niko form 1, someone is like, hey, I've noticed, kumaanisha hakuwa naiona before. And like umeangalia ude, umeangalia like, but anatembea tomboyish kiplani. Then I may notice, kumaanisha hata before hakuwa naiona. Then I had deep voice, so ninakuruma tu kila mahali. Then I'm like done with high school. And then naongea, then like imeenda tu. Ilitoka tu yenye. It's not like I was like soprano. No. Hivyo tu. It's ilikuja tu hivyo yenyewe. I feel like it is like every other step I was taking, it was transitioning.
Okay.
Sometimes when you look at me with rubbers, temenye nimeva rubbers and you'll see the tomboy coming out. I'll like, udemana tembiaji. You'll see it.
Okay. I think for me,
Point to not. You see how-
Yeah, you're gonna see it.
yeah. So when I joined in Form 1,
First year.
1.1, first year, I didn't do a shopping ya manguo. So literally the clothes I had was in nazo. But when I went for 1.2, my mom took me shopping. And sasa, okay, 1.1, I went back with almost my everything because it was like a wardrobe makeover. So we went and did shopping, and my mom didn't buy me any jackets or anything. Ilikuwa tu pants and tops. So when I went back to school, that's all I had. Pants.
Sauti people. Continue.
When I went back to school,
Tuendelee tu.
ni sauti.
Okay. Tumalize.
Okay, so when I went back to school, hizo ndo mango pekee nilikuwa nazo. So literally,
The pants and tops.
yes, and nothing on top.
Coverage all out.
Yeah. So, and then in Nakuru, somehow November But it is normally so cold. But then January, there's a lot of heat. I still used to wear jackets once in a while.
In
but
January.
In Jamaica, but it's better than, being outside there. So I used to do this thing where 4 days a week I'm insecure, 1 day I'm secure intentionally.
Had a routine.
And that one day when I was secure, the whistling, you know what I'm talking about? The whistling, the haya, kumbe unakanga hivi, kumbe ukana,
Bunda.
kumbe ukana, and it used to make me so uncomfortable because now it takes away from everything, and you just see me like I'm now seeing like
You're like,
want to be seen.
I know.
Yeah. So I used to do that on I used to be seen on Friday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, insecure Charlene. Friday she comes out. The weekend we go back again.
Okay, blanket ya Monday.
And so when I saw that being outside is not giving, I decided to venture into makeup. So I was choosing to have a pretty face and cover up my mood. That way you call me pretty. You don't call me all that. Like, you don't start whistling. That was in 1.2. And then after COVID, I gained so much weight. So when I went back to school again, after COVID, we had online class. Yeah, post-COVID, I went back to school and I had gained weight in the right places. If you know what I'm saying.
in the right places.
I know.
Mr. Director, you can focus on those right places.
In the right places. And the I don't know what COVID did to me, but I went back to school. I'm like, I can't be like that anymore.
I think, yeah. Because even how you say it right now, you're like, it's time to show you who the fuck I am. Because all that what you are insecure about, it had sort of made a U-turn and it went where you wanted it initially.
Yeah.
So
And then let me tell you something about having a big body.
yeah.
I feel like when I was in first year, there was not so much talk around being curvy and having a big body. But then when I went back to school,
It was the thing.
it was the thing. I'm like, oh, so you like us fat people? I normally don't like saying that, but that was the connotation back then. I'm like, oh, so you guys appreciate us? I'm like, okay.
It's time to show you.
Let me try kidogo. So I moved on from jackets and flannels. Now we're doing jeans and a top, but I cannot tuck in. I shall not tuck in, lest things fall apart. So I started the top with a shirt, and it's like, Charlene, what body type are you? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. Charlene, COVID was good to you. Kwani kwenu mko na chakula? I thought when Mkamba, some stupid comments. I'm like, okay, this is working. So I used to invest.
They're becoming compliments.
Yeah. And you see where I come, like, if you see my sister and my mom, both of us have the same body, and it's sort of genetic. Yeah, we don't know how to be slim. Even if I fast, I cannot be slim. So I'm coming from home where it's always like, no me nona, no me increase na yongwe kutoshi usiva yongo tena. Yeah, and then when I go back to school, it's being glorified. I'm like, okay, what we can do at home, I can be this Charlene, and at school I'm that Charlene. That could work. And also what I used to do, a point I was saying before the technical hitch, when I realized that my body is getting too much attention, let's focus on the face, because I'm pretty. So I'm like, okay, let's shift the focus. Now
How that's leading, because I'm pretty. Like, duh.
Yeah, if you have it, okay, you can't have it all, but if you have most of them all, why not shine one and dim the other? So I dimmed the body and I shined the face, and it was always like, okay, makeup is so good, and I liked that. I didn't like the body type, the body thingy. So yeah, post COVID, I shifted from. I have a friend who kuna hourglass na kuna peach shape. I don't know whether Ghost is getting this. Do you know?
And I will continue floating until I surface.
Hourglass, literally hourglass. And then a peach shape is you have a slightly smaller tummy. And then, yeah. So,
Curvaceous.
yes. So I had a friend who was like that, and at least we could relate with each other. These compliments. When we used to work together, it was double the attention, double the unsolicited comments. And so when we became friends, it became our responsibility. So when I used to wear a shirt and a jacket, she's like, "See, wear a jacket, see, tuck in." And then she was like, "We'll work together, but see if it's too much for you." So that's how it started. I tucked in, and I remember nikiingia class, it was just like horrific for me. I almost went to the washroom, ni untuck and just come back, but then it would be double the attention because mbona umetaka and then untuck, you know. So ilianza hivyo mpaka ikafika point I just had to accept that, you know what, according to these people, you might be all that. So you might as well as step into that whole bubble. So I think the shift for me happened post-COVID when I gained additional weight in places people want to see weight. And then
I am really probably we have an educated demographic. They will know what you're meaning.
Definitely. Yeah, so I think the society really helped. But then again, when you rely on society to find confidence, the time that they say that if you're an hourglass, please, your tummy better be small, then you start feeling bad again. You go back to your dark place, to your cocoon, to your bubble. And I have experienced that. Like if you're thick, please be thick in the right places. Do not be too thick, then you're not thick, you're fat. Like please find the line between thick and fat. Know where you lie. And if you are too fat, we don't like you. If you're not our definition of thick, we don't like you. And that also disturbed me. I remember at some point in this feels like a therapy session. DISDAT. Yeah, but at some point, and because at some point I was relying on my confidence from the society, then when I would go online and they're like, your tummy needs to be small, your arms need to be small, there's a way your assets need to look like. I'm like, I don't think I look like this. But then people would say you look like, and it is a lot. All this to say, if you depend on someone for confidence, you will always lose it. But if you can find it in you to find the confidence to just be you from you, it would really help. But I'd be lying if I said it came from me. It came from the society. It came from small boys saying, yeah. But it really, actually, if it were not for those small boys.
It's interesting how you put it.
Comment.
Very small boys. Wow.
Okay, not they're not boys
Wow.
anymore. Boys too.
Small boys.
But yeah, I owe it to them and to COVID and to everything. But it was a journey. But I did have that flip of a switch moment. I'm like, Charlene, just you've lived your life hiding yourself. Just come out and see whether it will work for you. And man, hasn't it worked for me? Yeah,
You all are flourishing.
we are trying. Of course, there's moments where
Yeah, in Nairobi, we all are trying. We all are trying.
You know, I hear people say when you tell me COVID, they gained weight, and I look at them like, okay, because the opposite happened to me. I lost.
why?
I've never sijai kwenda hivyo kwa maisha. You know,
So
you
basically
people
you
compare
are
me to slimness, but I was
Petite,
I was not petite. I was
thin.
were
remind me
you
of
in
that.
Slim Possible?
I don't know. It just happened. I have a very bad eating habit, so I think it's just it'll catch up na maybe my bad eating habit. Then I slimmed to slim. I was like,
Were you in your thoughts during
see,
COVID?
so right now, someone can look at me and be I don't know why. Whenever I meet people around, then they're like, you know, I used to be tiny. I used to be tiny as you before. And then I'm like, you were here. Now I'm again. I'm like, wait, I hope I just don't get there. But in many environments I'm at, every other person saying I used to be tiny, they compare to me.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm always pointed at like even when you talk over. But if you saw me time your COVID, and I not even realized it until, let me give the story time. I hope it ended. This Chile this time was like, she was the new Chile in the around us. I'm always the super loud. I mean, you just know kid is there. But she's like, udimni mkonda hata anahaga. She's too thin. I was like,
Which year was this?
2020. I was.
Oh yeah.
I got.
Yeah.
Kuna ile yenye you actually lose. You lose like you've lost.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was that bad. So I kind of lost, and I did not realize until late, and then I'm like, oof, girl, what caused that? Previously, I remember I wore this tight or going out with a friend of mine. Then I happened to realize when I wore that tight and I walk, my thighs were jiggly.
Oh,
Imagine.
girl.
So someone pointing it out came off to me like, oh, why? I think
Was
I became
it-
insecure about it.
Was it how they said it or just?
I don't
the
know.
comment
I don't
generally?
know. I don't know. I found it bothering me that the fact that when I walk, my thighs will jiggle.
You didn't
And
want that.
so unajua how mi nakanyaganga ni kama I'm stepping on all of you. So I think that was happening. So I think it just iliningia like my thighs need to stop jiggling, and the only way they can stop jiggling is if
We stop eating.
it's iache kukua, let me say iache kukua it stop being able to jiggle. Ikikuwa kamfupa definitely ina jiggle nini. There's nothing to jiggle, that's what I say. So I think that's what happened, and I later found myself losing kalienda.
I have a question. So you didn't want to be thick?
Not like I don't know how I don't know how it even came to that. So I told you before, anything coming to me, how did I cover it? I'm a tomboy boo.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a tomboy boo. Do I have the tomboy cover right now? No. It's gone. So how do I get to cover this?
So do you want your thighs to jiggle now?
I think I was just dumb and stupid back then.
I would
No, and that's unajua funny thing. Funny thing.
I am taking notes.
Funny thing, the body that as much as I'm tiny, I have big thighs and legs. Like my body generally.
Candy, after this, we'll be looking at you.
I don't care. I'm confident
You
now.
know what you're doing.
I am confident now. I just
Okay.
got over it. Generally, I'm tiny, but when you ule mtu mwenye mwili yako inakaa, kuna mtu mkonda unaangalia like, damn, you slim.
It's the dem for me.
I'm experienced.
Damn, you sleep.
Ndio, ile yenye you actually slim. For you to gain weight, it's going to take a lot of effort. But for me, I'm slim yenye you can easily
gain weight.
The weight is seen inaweza kuja hivyo. So because of that, I'm like, no, I just don't care whether I am shaking the whole world or I'm shaking the world.
You better
or
shake the world
I
right
don't
now.
care. I'm okay with my body. I don't know. I don't even know how I get over my insecurities. So Ghost, tuambie, it's ni time yake.
Hey, will we have some
It's-
popcorn?
it's-
We have
it's-
shared.
It's my time.
Tumeopen,
It's my
what?
time. It's my time. Yes, but I also have another question. And
He's really evading, but it's
no,
okay.
I'm not evading. But I'm also thinking about it, and I'm like, did I really have any insecurities?
Oh, must
But
be
we'll
nice.
We'll get to that. Yeah. My question is from because women generally take comments about their bodies. They can either take them positively or negatively, also depending on who is giving this particular comment. From yours experiences, how were you able to discern that this is a positive comment, I could take it, or this is a negative comment, I cannot take it? And let us be specific from the male gender. And you spoke about the small boys.
Yeah, the small boys.
How were you able to take, okay, this one is a positive one, no, this one is a little bit cringe, this I can't take?
Okay. I think for me, what I would if the comment was different from Kanono, Kafati and all, I would consider it first of all different, and then from different I reason whether it's, of course, coming menibo, I'll instantly feel it. But then again, if you put that Kafati in a nice word, I would take it, because at least you're seeing something different from Kafati, Kanono, from these comments.
Yeah.
And then positively, negatively was more, definitely. So anything different from Kafatika no for me was good. But then also in that population that I would take comments from, it would depend. Because nikipita mahali na I love what Wanduthi, but there's a way they say it, not what you say, how you say it.
Yeah.
I hate when you're walking around and the first thing people notice is your body. That one is, hata kama it's a good comment, I don't know why, I just hate, like, I know it's visible, but can you be discreet about it for a moment? Yeah. So back then for me, if it was different, it was good. Yeah, I think I must have been so depressed thinking back.
KKUN.
I'm trying to think really hard. I'm going to my ancestors' history. I'm opening those books, but I don't think. For me, I will say I don't really have a lot to say when it comes to my body, because I had my shell. My cover was there, and nobody has the time to come and talk about. Okay, at home it was open. We just didn't care about gender and all that. So we used to flow. Just know there's a girl. We didn't care about Anna actor, Anna Shawnini. So used to flow. But coming to school, it's like you having all these people around and all that. But because I have Michelle, she's a tomboy. We don't have time to look if she has got nyash or no nyash or nothing. We don't have that time. So then you getting to high school.
You all could tell in primary school if somebody had nyash or not.
I can be. Back then, that conversation wasn't there. I remember the conversation that was there, Kendi.
She's about to ask, where did you go to school?
It depends. I remember
this comment, I hold it in my hand. Don't remind me.
Because for me, I remember the conversation that was there. Unajua, that time is when your adolescent features are starting to show.
Thank you.
Right? And I remember the features, again, the boobs are very conspicuous and the hips.
Hips coming out.
I don't remember us. Not us, like us.
Nyash.
Speaking of a comment, I remember a friend of mine. So in primary, we used to have desks, you know, na zimepangwa in a certain way, ziko na space. I remember one time we took a break time to visit, and then this girl is like, Shalini, ebu jaribu kupita hapo. And because I didn't know what they wanted to see. See me, I desks release. And they were like,
wow.
And that was the reaction. They were like, wow. And for me, that was very degrading, because it's nice, but it's not nice. You see, why are you using me as an example?
True.
You get. Yeah.
When it comes to body, I just found myself. I just don't know. I can't really say there's any comments, because I never got any comments to do with my body or anything as much. Until that was the only time, by the way, I can remember someone actually made a comment, and I got to hear about my body, because they said, oh, how nimekonda hata sina haga, but your time nilikuwa hivi.
Yeye kutokuwa na haga ilikuwa imekuuma.
No, not really kuniuma, but when it was said, it made me realize I've lost.
I know.
Because only like sometimes how girls can lose weight, and sometimes the boobs, they're gone,
everything is gone.
Yeah. So it was one of those. So after that comment coming up, they were like, wow, I've really lost weight. And that was the only time I can actually remember someone had something to say.
It's really funny how it's until comments that you realize things about yourself.
Somehow, yeah.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I feel like sometimes we're just so lost. I would be not even paying attention to some things. When the comment was made about my thighs being jiggly, I don't know how it affected my brain to affecting my eating habits to the point I've lost weight, and now I've lost weight. I didn't know if I could lose.
Yeah.
I've lost too much weight.
Yeah.
And until that, and I even didn't pay attention to it, because later, after the next year, 2021, ndo nilianza kurudi sasa nakula pole pole tu.
I think that segues me into giving my experiences. Yeah, the comment where you say, if people do not bring it up, is it a good thing or a bad thing? I would say for a reality check, it is a good thing, but also for a reality check, it is a bad thing, because I grew up in a setting that I really did not need to feel different in the society. So every time somebody said it, that's when it dawned on me. Kumbe, you look different to some extent. Then that's the only time that I'll be like, okay, you are different. Yeah, there is something probably wrong with you. But what sort of protected me from any insecurities? I had a gangster of a grandmother. I grew up with my grandmother, and she was like, Alan, even if you call God right now, he cannot pour a bucket of color on you. Yeah. So the moment you stop feeling sorry about yourself, that is the moment that you're going to find solutions and you're going to be yourself. So every time I went through school, I never found myself off. If anybody said anything, actually I would joke about it. Yeah, and I would laugh it off. But and funny thing, given that I think about it, yeah, given that I think about it, I never got the point of even going home and start feeling so bad about it. Oh, now I have to wallow in my misery and all of that. So I don't have those instances where I felt like it's really bad. And I was sort of a pack leader. Yeah, the confidence that I was instilled in by my granny made me to be the person who leads the pack. If you did not play with me, if I wasn't part of that play, I ain't bamba. You get. So that made me to know I am the it. I think to date I still sort of espouse such tendencies. Look at you agree. Yeah, I still espouse such tendencies. Hakuna kitu ilikuwa inanishtua. Hakuna kitu ilikuwa inanishtua. So even if you said even if you said this or that, it did not really matter. Except when you find a child, when child, they are innocent. Yeah. They will not know anything. They will say it outrightly. And I remember there is this time, and it goes back to the point of how is it said. Yeah. And I remember there is this one child, very young kid. It was a she, and I was hustling. We're not going to talk about entrepreneurship, but I was hustling. I was hawking something, and she called me out in a derogatory term. All the anger that I had of not selling, I unleashed it on that young girl. I slapped the heck out of her.
How old was she?
I think she was 7, 8. I think that she will never forget. And you see, I did not slap her like this. I slapped her like this.
And by that time, how old were you? Because slap ya mwanaume is not funny.
Yeah.
I'm not experienced. I'm not experienced.
Wow,
but
that shows intelligence. But I was also on your case. Have you ever experienced it? So I think I was started hustling when I was young, quite young, 16, 17.
Like 16, that hand is heavy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I slapped her, and I think that's the time that I was the first concept of doing advocacy. That's when it sort of came into my mind.
Okay.
Because after slapping her, she took a couple of seconds for her to start crying.
The shock.
She was shocked. She was like, "I am being nice, and you're slapping me." So she took like a couple of seconds she gasped for air. I was like, you umeua mtoto wenyewe. Yeah, and then she screams at once. And then there is somebody who saw me do that.
A grown up?
Yeah, a grown up. Somebody older than me. And I think it was a he, if I remember right. He stood there. He did not argue. He did not try to sort of castigate me for what I did. He only asked, do you think slapping her is going to make any difference? Is it going to stop anybody else to say what she has said? I think those are the most painful ones that I've ever been told in my life. That I've ever been told in my life, because I did what I did to escape how I felt. Okay. But now the words that were meted on me, they sort of just broke me. Yeah. Hata biashara hiyo siku nilifungia hapo. Nikarudi tu kwenye nilikuwa natoka. And it got me thinking. And in terms of whatever we do, and this is why I never, it also taught me not to react to things. Yeah, I am the kind that you do something, I weigh into so many directions. Yeah?
That's true.
And I'm like, okay, what might have led to this? And I think indirectly it taught me analytical skills. Yeah, before you make any decisions, a decision that you might regret later, or somebody might say something that is painful. just think through it.
Because I have a question. I figure that you are coming from a secure place where no one is instigating you for who you are, right? Of course, there's a point where you shifted from that space, and now you are in a much more, should I say, a bigger world? Because when we're young, it's like a small bubble. Now you're in a bigger world, and then more people, more opportunities. Now you're out there. Did this security sort of turn into an insecurity at any moment? And if so, how did you deal with it? And if not, how different was being in that secure space from being in now a bigger world with different things?
It is a very good but tough question, because in some of the shows that we do here, particularly Dreams in Motion, there is a guest that we spoke to, and I asked him a question, and he was like, if you had not asked me that question, I would have never realized that actually I've been doing that particular thing. So that is the type of question that you are asking me right now. And I think it has never gone down. And the type of challenges that I've been grappling with, there are two challenges. Am I overconfident? Yeah, those are the challenges that I've been having. Am I overconfident? Am I really as good as people say I am? There is the people, and then there is me. Are you really good as you think you are? Yeah, those are some of the insecurities. Are they really insecurities, even to some extent?
It could be, because when you think about it, if you're overconfident, there's something you you are, what's the word?
Sort of wanting to overweigh, to outplay or downplay.
If you remove the overconfidence, there's something.
Yeah, there is something that is lacking.
Yes.
Yeah, I think then that overconfidence, when I think about it, it is very convoluted. I think that's what I would say. Because definitely I agree with you. If you're overconfident, then there is something that you're trying to cover up.
Yeah.
And that's something I think I've never gotten to sort of point a finger to it.
Okay.
Yeah. And I've always told myself, no, ni sawa. Yeah. I could be going through crisis right now, but mine is nice. Yeah, mine is nice. There is this awareness of not really being content, but I'm like, if this is where I am at right now, I am okay. Yeah, I am okay. If it's a relationship and somebody wants to leave me, I will not fight. I'll be like, okay, cool. Yeah, I'll be like,
and when you go back to your bed, are you really cool?
Yeah, I'm like, there is
alone.
A phrase, yes, there is a phrase that I saw, that you are lonely, but you want to be alone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that is the sort of situation that I found myself so many times. Yeah, and also coping mechanisms. You listen to loud music. Yeah, loud music, and my turnaround time is so short. Like, I could break up with somebody yesterday, and today I'm cool.
Okay.
Yeah, even sometimes I've had an experience. We broke up with somebody, and okay, me giving away my tips right now.
Listen up, y'all.
I like observing. Yeah, and in my observation skills, I notice when things start changing, and I take note. I've been told that is somebody that I was with, they were like, that is a very bad skill. But I'm like, this is how I've been surviving. So how would you tell me that it's a bad skill?
So it's a surviving mechanism.
It's sort of a surviving mechanism that I would notice something. I will not tell you right and there. Oktani kosea. Sasa, I'm also now giving away this in the office.
No, maybe we see whether we know whether we are right.
Oktani kosea. And I'll keep cool about it. Yeah, I will not tell you right there and then. It happens the second time. I will not tell you. Basically, I keep receipts.
That is very true.
So by the time we are having a conversation about it, the person is like, so you noticed. You noticed. Then why didn't you tell me immediately?
Yeah.
I was like, then I'm like, it wasn't cause for alarm. Yeah. I'm the kind of, okay, that's how you've decided, Sawa.
So you see a ticking bomb and you wait for it to explode.
I do not wait for it entirely to explode, but I also have to weigh into in terms of if I wait for it to explode, am I on the losing end or am I on the winning end? From a relationship point of view, I will wait it to explode. Because if you've already changed your mind about this particular thing, I am the kind who thinks there is nothing that I'm going to tell you that is going to bring you back into your senses to say that I still want to do this particular thing.
Don't you think that's being proud?
It's not. Wow.
I'm just saying.
Listen. It's not being proud. It's about letting. I always tell people, let things flow.
Ghost, I can tell you for a fact, a ship can be sailing, okay, not literally,
Yeah.
but a ship can be sailing and just one word can make it start floating again. Yeah. And I feel like you're the type of, I'm not saying that one word, let it sink.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pride.
It's not pride.
It is pride.
Why? Okay. Why does it have to be a me issue?
What's your question?
Why does it have to be a me thing?
Or why does it have to be you?
No, why does it have to be me to say that one word to change the tide around?
Because that other person is probably in the dark, as you were saying it.
No, from a relationship standpoint, this person is definitely not in the dark. I am, from a very young age, I was taught to take, I hope people have seen this about me. I was taught take responsibility for your own actions. And many people around me, people that I mentor, I tell them, hey, take responsibility of your own stuff, your mistakes, own them. Because once you own them, then it teaches you a very important lesson, that next time when I see this thing happen, I will know that it is happening and I will stop it and I will change course. I will change direction. But if then you do not own up and you wait for the other person to call you out, I might call you up, but that is the decision. That is that is the absolute decision that you've decided to take. I would not like to talk you out of it and you're like, by the way, it's because I've seen these situations. Yeah, you see a relationship going sour and somebody talks you out of it, and then later on, 1, 2, 3 months down the line, something happens and you're like, by the way, I wanted to leave, but you talked me out of it. I do not like if there is anything that I don't like is regretting. I don't like regretting.
So if you want to watch a ship sail and if it's a gone, it's a gone, don't you think you're more prone to regretting? Or
No,
by the time the ship is sailing,
listen,
I won't regret.
By the time the ship is sailing, I'm like, no, I'm cool. I'm nice.
Okay.
Yeah. I've given away a lot of secrets.
But I'm still not convinced that's not pride.
No, it's not.
Unless, like, case in point, a relationship,
awareness.
and this person is, like, say, always on the wrong one too many times, and you've mentioned it one too many times.
Yeah.
That one
And a funny thing, when I mention it, I do not mention it as if I'm quarreling. I bring it up so casually.
Again, how you say it. If you say it in a nice way, it will be like, oh, you too. Okay, so I'll change. And then you don't change. You get. But if you're mkali, okay, si mkali sana. But if you're serious about it, I'm not saying you're not serious, but if you put some seriousness to it, you have a nice syndrome, you just want to be nice.
And actually, I think I have a nice syndrome, but many people do not see that syndrome in me. Yeah. I'm for those who know me, for those who don't know me, like those who are not in my inner circle, they're like, Alan is the worst person that, Ghost, sorry. Okay, Alan is the worst person that you can ever be friends with. But then for those who are really in my circle and those who have allowed to come to be in my hood, they're like, Alan is the best person that you'd ever get to know. Because I like, and I think rarely, not even rarely, I say in life, it's only my grandmother who went over and beyond for me. So not many people that have ever gone over and beyond.
Didn't Jesus Christ die for your sins, Ghost?
How many? 1 billion years ago.
But didn't he die?
No, that's a fallacy to some extent.
We shall not get into that.
Yeah, we shall not get into that. So I always say that it's only my grandmother that went over. Listen to me right. Over
And beyond.
So other people did what they had to do.
Yeah, the bare minimum.
Yeah, the bare minimum.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to feed him, gets fed. I have to take him to school, goes to school.
But your grandma, kama ni kukula.
Yeah, kama ni kukula. This is the woman who facilitated for me to be carried to school on the back. Yeah, by her other children.
Oh,
And
she
then-
provided means of transport.
Yes, I remember growing up is a scam. Yeah, I remember, and I was so young to even remember this. I think I was around five, 6 thereabout. Every time I would be carried. Every time it was 10 a.m. Breakfast, be carried back home.
Home. I
yes.
used to go to school. Used to come from school at 10 a.m.
Yes,
That is not Kenya.
yeah, that's not Kenya.
Oh wow! International students in a room.
Yeah, that's not Nairobi.
And at what time do you go to school?
So
9:30.
At 10, listen.
Okay.
At 10, you go to school very early in the morning. By 8, you're in school.
That's early, very early in the morning.
Yeah, very early in the morning.
Wow.
Yeah, very early in the morning. By 8, you are in school. So probably you've started the journey at around 7:30 thereabout. The school is just around the corner. Yeah, like 20, 30
But
minutes.
Ghost had to be carried.
Yeah, Ghost has to be carried,
Wow.
taken home at 10, eat breko. Immediately after breko, have a chit chat with granny. Then whoever brought you to home, they take you back to school. Yeah. And because I'm in kindergarten, sort of, my classes end at 1. Yeah. That particular one, I'm taken back home on the back. Yeah. Eat lunch. Because I was the kid of, I was the grandson of the family. I'm like, they're like, no, msimwache hapa, mrudishe shule akae huko, but mwangali. So imagine your kuzo is in class, but still they have to look out for this guy. Amepigwa, ameumia,
Yeah.
na nipatwe na dent. Then you're going to face it rough
Yes.
with granny. So I was like, I found that so fascinating. Like, even in her old age, whenever she used to visit me or visit us, where I now relocated to, when she could no longer take care of me, like, she had weird tendencies. Even they could not sit well with my auntie. She would be given the best part of meat, and she could eat, alafu one anaipepa anaiweka kwa sahani yako. Then your auntie starts quarreling. My auntie starts quarreling. Why? Don't you see you're sick? Eat that meat. And she's like, sasa nisipompatia nani atampatia? You get that sort of,
Yeah.
so I knew that this is how love is supposed to be like.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think, okay, now I get it.
What do you get?
You say when you're raised in that, it's a beautiful bubble. Beautiful bubble.
And when it's broken by the universe.
Now, those expectations you had, you will have them
From a
on
spouse.
others.
Actually, we're talking about the same thing on another show here at Science Today. Yeah.
And you see, if you cannot provide that, bye.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. But from that point of going above and beyond, I'm like, from my aspect, I'm like, for the people who are really for me, that is how I can only show them that I truly care.
Oh, now that's how you show.
That's how I show to
Okay.
people that, hey, I truly care. Yeah, I think, have I answered your questions?
I don't even remember those questions, but
Yeah. So that's a bit of my upbringing. Yeah, I remember there is this one time I went to high school. Yeah, first day in high
international
school.
again.
Not really,
Okay.
but it's a good school. Yeah, it's
One
good
of the
school.
best.
It's a good school. I go to school. You know, it was very weird. Yeah, and to date I always wonder. I went to a school that I went to mainstream school. Yeah, I never went to quote unquote special schools as
Okay.
they're called here in Kenya.
Was it your choice or your guardian's choice?
It wasn't my
Or just
choice.
by chance?
That was like, listen, I was from day one. I was told that, hey, I was about to say the N word. There is nothing special about you. Yeah, there is absolutely this color. Hata kuna wale light skinned, they're brown.
Yeah.
This is just a type of color that you are. There is nothing special about you.
Okay.
So go tussle it out with other folks. So that's how I found myself in a mainstream school, and I think that is the best thing that ever happened to me. Because when I look at folks here in Nairobi, and I'm not pissing on them or anything, like, you all have some insecurities that I don't know where they are all coming from.
International students have a way of advocating for things. It's okay.
I'm like, oh, that's also a problem. I'm like, how? Yeah. So that's how I found myself in mainstream school. And I think what got the fear out of me is like, you're the only white guy in a community of over 1,000 people who do not look like you.
Yeah.
Where do you even get the time to feel sorry about yourself?
What did you do with that fame? Because I assume you were famous.
Yeah, I was.
Oh yeah.
I was famous. I was eloquent. I was a prefect, Yeah. Though I remember there is this one period before I got into politics. I was in class 4. And I vied to be the head prefect or the head boy of the school. It could not really make sense giving a class 4 guy the head prefect of a whole
Entire
institution.
school.
Yeah, then they were like, he's awfully clean, smart, speaks well. Just make him the timekeeper. Just make him the timekeeper without them knowing that they're now nurturing me to be the 8th thing in the institution. Yeah, then I became a parade prefect, hoist the flags and all of that. So I was
That used to be done by a prefect.
yeah.
Why a prefect? You didn't have scouts?
I'm telling you, international schools are
Sorry
weird.
for even come. Sorry.
They're
I'm out
different.
of that.
You can't relate.
Yeah, I used to raise the flag because I was a scout, not a prefect.
I would think so too.
Yeah.
Because before you move on, you've touched on eloquence, and
Yeah.
I know eloquence, especially eloquence in English. People tend to think, I don't know, it's a norm that if you're eloquent in English, you must be very intelligent. You must have come from a good place.
Yeah.
I would like to know, how did you gain your eloquence?
How did I gain my eloquence? I started. Still, I will make the reference to Cat Williams, but you all said you don't know who Cat
International
Williams is,
students. Just I was reading a novel, 200
It's
pages in
actually,
class.
that's what Cat Williams said, yeah? That he started reading books when he was 4. But myself, I did not start reading when I was 4. I think I started reading around 7-8 years. I think I first read Rich Dad, Poor Dad when I was 8.
I haven't read Rich Dad Poor. Have you? Okay.
It says...
I saw it around, but I never got to read it.
Me too.
Now you see, she saw it around and she was like... So I think...
Many look longer buyer. So you're telling
what also brought about that eloquence, I don't know where it came from, but I impressed upon myself that while I was reading out loud.
Okay.
So instead of reading from inward, like you just skim through things, I sort of made the words audible. Yeah, and before I knew it, I had this sort of trend that I would speak with, and when I would go talk to teachers, I would be like, okay, interesting. But also, if at that age, and when I also joined high school, I stumbled upon literature as a subject, and I was like, okay. And nikianguka chemistry, na mathematics, na biology.
When you come
in Form
speak to
1,
me.
yeah. But when you come speak to me, guy, I am going to flabbergast you with English. Yeah, and it is going to compensate for my failures in sciences.
Yes.
So I was very good in literature. That's how I drew my eloquence. And funny, I was not in a household where we would sit down and have stories with my auntie, because she used to work all the time.
So it was a personal choice to be so good at speaking English, because I can't say the same for Kiswahili.
Wow.
The question is, did you used to speak Swahili where you are?
No, I did not speak Swahili where I was.
International students.
No, stop it.
Just accept
okay,
it.
Sawa. Also, still, everything that I am today, it has been a cause or as a result of so many things, but whoever built that best was my grandmother. My grandmother told me, Alan, even if you look like, wewe sio mtu wa kawaida, tayari unajiona wewe sio mtu wa kawaida, wewe sio
Wow, tayari unajiona.
like that woman
Alafu
gave it
unajua
to
how
me.
they speak.
No, stop it. So she told me, Alan, wewe sio mtu wa kawaida, you're going to be great. So whatever you feed into your subconscious mind, I just don't know how these things happen, because as I said, you do things without realizing them. But when somebody poses that question to you, then you're like, kumba, I've been doing this all through. So I go to high school. Back to my story before you ask me that question. I go to high school. It's identified. I am this eloquent guy. I think also in.
At that time, you knew you're eloquent.
I did not know. I was just well spoken.
Okay.
I did not know, because at home I could not practice my English. Yeah, I could only practice it at school. And at school, because you're kids, you all don't know nothing, yeah, and your teachers do not want to sort of exalt you so high so that you feel so apart from your peers.
Ghost, at home you're not speaking English or Swahili, you're speaking what? French or German?
Luganda.
Okay.
Yeah. Ati German. So when I go into high school, now here you're bringing different guys who have different minds and different perspectives. They're like, the literature teacher comes in and we introduce ourselves, and they're like, I share some of the stories that you've read and all of that, and I speak, and that guy picked me out and is like, interesting, okay. That's how we became friends with the literature teacher, and I think it's him. It was a he, and he used to wear. He impressed so much upon me. Yeah. He used to wear that around that time. That's when the slim ties were an it thing. Yeah, he would wear this fitting suit and a very slim tie. And I'm like, when I grow up, I want to be like that guy. I want to be.
Your should see ghost right now.
I try. So kids believe in high school they're going to pick on me. They don't know who they're dealing with. So there is this guy. He's like, oh, we are throwing banter. Now, I think it is a defensive sort of a mechanism that I had. If you throw banter at me, I will make sure I am part of it, to make you understand that all what you're saying, I don't feel bad about it. Actually, I also find it funny.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, you're like, no, this guy is cool. Yeah, this guy is cool. No matter what we throw at him, he's not going to break.
But did you feel some type of way when you're away from the crowd and you're alone? Did it get to you?
I never allowed it to get to myself.
Okay.
There are so many things that I don't allow to get to my inner core.
Intentionally.
Okay. Yeah, you just not that I don't think about them. I think about them and I catch myself thinking about them, and I'm like, okay, think about something else. So I never let myself wallow in sort of that misery. There is a name that they called me, and to date I still have it as my nickname. Whitehead. So there is this guy, he was called, I think, I still even remember his name. He was called Sentamo Moses, and he's like, Whitehead niaje. Now in Tiga, I'm like, cool. I don't know why I even kept the name. Yeah. But even on my socials, if you check on I used to be big on Facebook. I'm no longer big on Facebook, but I need to go back on there. They gave me a nickname, Whitehead, and I embraced it. And they were like, okay. I think that was even the breaking point of them now stopping to pick on me. They were like, this guy is cool. So if they ever did anything and I was not a part of it, imagine I am the only white guy, dude, in school, but I'm still a part of the mischief that happens in school. Wouldn't you find that amazing?
That is cool.
Exactly. So even my pals, they knew, okay, these guys were just crazy. They knew if we do something with this guy, and we are in trouble. You get, because but then I also had this sort of I'm going to take one for the team spirit.
Okay.
Even if I am caught, I'm like, ni mimi tu muliona, si ndio? I will take the fall for the team.
Yeah.
So hata sasa wakituona, they're like, we are fed up of dealing with that with that guy. And that thing of my granny telling me that you're gonna be great, I think, and this I tell to people that I often talk to, that whatever you tell your child when they're still young, it makes a whole difference in their life, because these are things that they grow with, and they take them so dear to themselves. That's a bit of a history class about Ghost. Mr. Director is wondering, okay. Now I get a lot of things.
Now I get it. The eloquence question, I want to extend it to Kendi, because I also find her very, very, very eloquent. Yes, okay. Now you know. I'm sure people in the room would agree. How did you achieve that? Was it intentional? I have nice English, I have nice diction.
Let me. Chani aribu, ni chome, nikijibu. I'll say ni juicy.
Oh, juicy ni lini?
Ni juicy. It's not
that long ago.
I'm this person. At a home, nikipiga story na anyone, they're like, see, I'm always unachukua ni kama you're different in every other environment. You are the different one.
Yeah.
In school, you're the tomboy. At home, you're the slay queen. You are the no.
Everywhere you go,
As in kuna, there's just something someone will see and they'll say you are actually not like fitting into us, kabisa. So I'll say juicy because when I was losing my biz, I was gaining my English. I've always struggled. I've always struggled even reading, just getting a book and getting to read it clearly. Like there's a paragraph, read it out loud, blah 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 blah. And actually getting this person, it was a struggle for me. And Swahili was worse. Jesus, those words used to look like V's and W's and Y and Z. You're supposed to pronounce them, and they were super hard. And but I don't know why I was the clever one. I think the basis part of it, I think that's where I lost it and everything. But now growing up, I feel like after high school, I spent a lot of time with my dad. And my dad is this type of person who's I've read these books, I've read the Bible, get this newspaper, as in there's anakuambia maybe anakupiga lecture kuhusu kitu, then I could like open this verse, read it out loud. I was reading this newspaper, so usually do that, but he sent me this article to read it, and I could like read it. He saw me, how do you view it, blah blah blah. I feel like hapo hivyo ndo nilikuja ku learn to accept the fact that you can actually even speak Missouri. It's not like an issue. It's not like today a cousin of mine always tells usiniongeleshe hivyo, naambia naongeanga hivyo, so itabidi ni accept because ilikuja tu hivyo. And then I found myself, if I need to explain anything, whenever we had a conversation is serious and I need to explain anything, I'll just change to English. Like, you still, then I'll rap through it.
And I know you speak fast.
So I'm actually like learning again to stop rushing. Niache kuongeanga ni kama I'm running and I'm going somewhere. And anytime I speak slow, I feel like I stammer and I lose it. I feel like the thoughts just come out. So when I speak slow, it's like you're telling it pause. Haiendi na huku inaenda mbio, hapa inaenda pole pole. They're just working together. But I just say yangu ni ya juzi. I wouldn't say nimekuwa, as in I've been eloquent from kitambo. Juzi. Basically, I've built it after high school.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, given that you're asking the question, this is a podcast of eloquent people.
True.
Yeah, we are masters of the diction. Probably people in the comment section could agree with us or disagree. Yours, is it entirely, because you is a journalist, is it entirely from school, or this is something that you developed also back home?
I think we were talking with Kendi and we have the same early background. And
I don't know yours background.
Yeah, I know. We're talking with Kendi about the ghetto life, and Kendi was telling me she's from the ghetto. I'm like, you are not from the ghetto.
That's not ghetto enough.
Yeah, that's not ghetto.
It's ghetto small.
Yes. Before 2008, I was born and bred in Madare.
Yeah.
Before 2007 shifted things, and now we had to shift.
Yeah.
So me, before 2008, I don't know how I remember, but I do remember me. I don't think I used to be the girl that you see right now in terms of talking.
Yeah.
So I moved from Madare and we moved to an estate, first of all, shocker. You guys don't play until 12 a.m.
Wow.
Ati by 6 they're home. I'm like, okay.
It's hard staying this end.
This is different. So so for coming from schools in that area to now a new area, even that school I went to was good, but now I got shifted to now
proper school,
proper academy here, and I wasn't struggling, but I knew this English is different. I knew this is not what nimezoea. That unconsciously. But then I remember where I knew that we have to, English is it. I remember the high school I went to, should I say it? No, I wouldn't say it.
It's okay.
I wouldn't say
it's
it.
Okay.
No, I wouldn't say it. The high school I went to, I remember when we were in Form 1 during induction that night, tulipelekwa dining hall, and after the whole induction process, they tell us good night, and then we say same. And they were like, "Mmesema nini?" I said, same. They're like, do you know which school you're in? I might be over glorifying my school, and I'm like, ulikuwa tu your shule.
You have to that's why you hapo ndo ulikuwa.
Yeah.
Take pride.
So they say good night, we say same. They're like, if you are girls from this place, we don't talk like that. When someone says good night, you either say you too or you say good night. Yeah.
Wow.
That's the nini. And then
Sam is rude.
is it?
Yeah.
It was a thing in high school. Actually, me growing up, my mom used to say, "Don't tell me same, likewise." But in school,
No, likewise. Yeah.
it's like, "Good night, same." It used to be a song. It just used to call. Ilikuwa tu hivyo.
Yeah, so it was you too and likewise and all of that. I talked with my sister when she was in high school. They used to call matron. So keeping a story, she's like matron. I'm like, no, it's matron. She's like, come on. What made it worse or better? Again, my literature teacher, she was a PhD holder in English and literature.
Wow.
It was fun. I was like, wow, I want to be like you. So the English she used to teach us is, for example, there's no word as they in English. It's either the, like someone in the room. It's either the or the.
Yeah.
So it's the apple, it's the school, it's the environment,
Nation.
it's the microphone, it's the nation. And it was so, I found it so interesting. Like, she used to tell us, you cannot, again, it was about the school. I don't know why. She was like, if you don't get out of this school with good grades, your English better speak for you. So for us, it was just saying arson. You just can't speak basic English. I genuinely attribute my eloquence to high school. And then when I knew it was different, so in our home, we have this routine where every day someone preaches the word. So I remember when we took a high school after Form 1 and I come back home and that night it was my turn. So I take the Bible, I read the verse, and I'm preaching, and there was abnormal silence. I'm like, wow, I've learned how to preach so well.
Everybody's listening.
Everybody's listening. I'm
Yeah.
like, the Spirit is here. And then my brother is like, see, won't get to normal.
I know.
Like, you don't have to do all that. I'm like, Connie, it's different, yeah. And my sister tells me there's a way you're saying art, there's a way you're saying things. I'm like, okay. I'm like, too bad I can't change. Like, that's the new me. You'll better deal with it.
You'll better get used to me.
Yeah.
Or find another house to stay in.
Yeah. So that's where mine came from. And then when you go to campus and you're speaking like the people assume you're from this international school, unajifanya.
You're all furnished.
Yeah.
You're polished.
Yeah. But when I did journalism, but when it comes to reading the news, you are the go-to person. Why? Because your English is polished. So they deal with it,
Yeah.
That's where I attribute and I really loved it. I really loved it because if I'm getting an E in math, in English, I'm getting an E. So mine, I give gratitude to that school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This segues me into an interesting conversation about dining, like the English. Yeah. There is a video that has been making rounds on the internet. But before that, with how you're eloquent, then do you feel detached from the African you? Because there is that aspect of first it a couple of times, even when I go, there is now there is a time that I went to a proper high school, and then there's a time things happened and I went to a high school, a normal high school.
Secondary.
Yeah, a secondary school. And there is this crazy friend of mine that we have. There is that one guy you go to school with and they keep in touch with everybody that
Yes.
So this guy brings us together and they put us in the same WhatsApp group. So guys are introducing themselves, yada 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 yada. At that time I think I had started working, by that particular year I started working in TV. So he's like, hey Alan, introduce yourself, nini. So I'm like, I dreaded typing then, and I decided to
send a voice note.
To send a voice note.
Like
With the voice.
It's like
everyone was actually bathing the time.
Everybody unleashed it on me, and they're like, who the hell is that? Ule jamaa mwenye alikuwa white shule. Oh, sasa ameamua sasa kuwa mzungu kabisa. Like
acting the part.
Oh, sasa ameamua sasa act pia. Do you all feel that you're detached from the traditional yours, or how is it? And this also English thing is happening from the up end. Nairobi has so many sides to it. Yeah.
Yes.
Does it seem like you all are over trying, or it is what it is?
I think when I became that person, even the people you I tracked because I look at my campus friends. I look at my campus friends. The ones I attracted at first were exactly like me.
Yeah.
How
So
I,
they probably went to a similar high school like yours.
one was actually the high school she went to was almost close to mine, and the other one was a very good school.
Yeah.
And all of them are very good in English, but math is where they draw the line.
Yeah.
Just like me. So I feel
As
like
long as you can count your money, you're
yeah, I feel like it unconsciously changes even the dynamic of your the people you hang out with.
Yeah.
So much so that I am this person. I will flow with the group. Mnaongea Kiswahili, I can do that. You all are mixing, I can do that. You're doing English plainly, I can do that. Because I realized you close off yourself from other people who might not be as good as you are in English, but there's so much they can offer aside from English.
Yeah.
So it forced me now to be a dynamic person and get out of this
sort of exalting yourself.
yeah, just because of English. That's what it's done to me personally.
For me, I'm still at the gate.
Kendi, you know, even when you speak in Kiswahili, it just sounds like, you know,
Bougie.
yes, bougie Kiswahili.
For some reason I meet people and then I'm like, yeah, maybe they mean mse wapa hivi wako like, but unaaktika bumbi fulani. I'm like, do I? Manaka too lost somewhere in the middle of it. But with my dad, you'll find us having a conversation. It's heated. Tumemwaga ngoso kwa nyumba.
Pure English.
Where? Tuko tu up. You see, I was looking. Then I come out. Then everyone is looking at me like it's difficult. So the few times I've gotten of you feel like you're better, I've gotten that because at the end of the day, these conversations are going to be what wataongea. So I say, you feel like maybe you feel like you're better. Ama nini. I'm like, no, I'm not even feeling like I'm better. Another thing I always say is, I have grown up in boarding school. I have grown up my whole life in boarding school. So at the end of the day,
Which class do you go to boarding school?
3.
Class
Well,
3?
that's
Yeah, I went to the first boarding school in class 3.
Wow.
My mom was super worried. My daughter was not going to be walking to school and back home at all alone.
so the better you go.
Yeah, it was one of those schools. Ni kama mnadekezwa
Just
tu.
an egg.
Aki 3 years is so young. At 3 years, class 3.
Yeah, I was 9 after being the first Buddha from class 1 to class 6. Yeah, but it wasn't that bad from how I look at it. And the class 4 school, survival for the fittest. Anyway, so you umegrow environment ya shule. And I remember in school when it was in primary, remember when hakuna kuongea Kikamba ama hakuna kuongea Kiswahili. The school is in Ukambani. The school is in Ukambani. Most of you are from Nairobi and Mombasa, but definitely hata kama ni Wakamba, but umekuja shule moja. So environment yenu pia haiwalau kuongea Kikamba, but I had an accent, had this Asisi Kamba thingy used to say. Yeah, so then coming back home, people are mocking me because of that. Then you go back to school, feeling normal, but everyone is telling you you're speaking different. And you get to high school, you're this person who's standing out like, ish, udem ni mrui, udem ni mgeto. Then when you go back home, you're like, no, when do baby? So those,
It's like, where do I fit?
Where do I fit in?
Yeah.
Until I actually even got to, okay, you just go with the flow after high school and all that.
Itwa ukona do na flow.
Yeah, so
Hauna do una flow.
so I started just flowing with it now after high school. You find me and my dad to have a conversation. It's English and all that. When I shifted to this other side, it's like, if you just don't like how I speak, fuck you. Sorry.
Wow. On that note, English is supposed to be accompanied by so many different mannerisms. It's not supposed to be a standalone. And I hope the director will share this. There is a whole class of how to be taught of how to dine. Yeah, dine properly, like how you're supposed to hold the knife, how you're supposed to hold the fork, the amount of food that you're supposed to cut, how you're supposed to chew, and all of that. So my question, what are the mannerisms that you've got to learn to accompany your eloquence?
Hey, let me just say I'm out of that.
What you mean you're out
I
of
personally
that?
feel like, okay, the only thing I'd say I got to learn kale kadonyele in school. You see how in school you get to the hall, you have to have had your meal, then ulipata this cabbage ni kubwa ilikatwa vibaya, you throw it on the table, blah blah blah. So it got to a point our principal said no, hizo zisipatikane, hizo chakula zenye mnatupa zisipatikane. If you find anything you don't want to eat on your plate, just put it on the side. When you get done, utaenda you tupe in the right place, blah blah blah.
Ni kama wale watoto kutoaga nyanya kwa chakula.
So it was one of those. So I don't feel like we get to have those. Ati, you're going to get we better julize the last time you had the set at it's done out over here, and then you're supposed to pick the fork and then the knife and then do all this. You used to do that in home science, but when you get back to reality,
so you've not had to compensate your English or your eloquence with any other mannerism?
I wouldn't say her personally. You actually know it, you actually see it, but have you actually put it into like practice and gotten it to like sink into your system? Not that I'll embarrass you when you're going out. I will not.
Yeah, I am a worried lot, because we might be going for an episode at Kempinski. They're like, they have a knife set, but look at how they all are using the knives.
I won't embarrass you, but
but whatever comes after,
no,
but
I won't embarrass you.
However, yes.
however,
I wouldn't say I've put so much into it. As an evil, like, yo, I'm supposed to eat like this. I'm supposed to no. What about you, Momo?
Me, in terms of eating, again, the high school I went to, this was not a fork and knife situation, but I remember we used to have eggs during the weekend. Na kuna watu wametoka place yenye wanagonganisha mayai kwa meza ndio watoe, wengine kwa kichwa. And then they were like,
kwa kichwa, those are the OGs.
and like you use a spoon, like how smoky vendors do it. I learned it in high school. So when I came back home, I said it was different. We never used to do that. And they're like, okay, we love this school for you. It's really doing wonders.
Nice.
It's modeling.
Like, wow.
Yeah.
And then I remember there was a time we went to a hotel. I hadn't experienced hot towels prior to that. So the waiter...
Hot towels. Explain. You know, when you talk about towels, some people might think it's in the bathroom. And
okay. Hot towels in a culinary setting, it's a way of making your hands clean.
Yeah.
So it's literally a hot towel you're supposed to use on your hands. And so that this waiter comes with a
okay, what's that?
This waiter comes with a hot towel.
Mumeosha mikono, mnakimbia.
And you know, when you're a family kwa table, they come with a plate that has the hot towels. I'm like, dessert? No. I'm like, okay. So I see my
and
parents.
they always smell very nice.
Yes,
they have this
yes.
Off of them, yeah.
So they bring the hot towels. Me again, where the high school you went to, you were told if you don't know nothing, just say no, thank you.
Yeah.
So my parents pick the hot towel and my siblings, and then I say no, thank you, because I don't know what it is for.
Yeah.
So the waiter went, and then because my parents knew, I don't know how my siblings knew what to do, and I didn't know what to do.
Observe.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So they used the hot towel. So my dad was like, okay, so this is the hot towel, and this is how you use it.
Yeah.
You might think that you're classy, but you're new shamba. I'm like, okay.
Ouch. Did you have to hit that law?
I'm like, okay. I learned. And then there was a time we were with my dad at a restaurant, and it was an omelette, and there's a fork and knife. I'm like, okay, may you know how to use a fork, peke.
You like, we can just roll this thing up.
Yeah.
I love to be saucy.
Yes, and then my dad is not someone who's embarrassed. So he was like, okay, he stands up and it's like, fork on this hand, knife on. I'm like, do we have to do this right now? Tunaweza practice. He's like, no, we have to do it right now. And so that's how I practiced to use a fork and knife. Those are the only two
instances.
Yeah. As far as just small spoon and a big spoon, I don't know. And it's so stressful. You will take me to Kempinski and I will use my hands to eat that chicken because you're not going to stress me.
Yeah.
Yeah, mi nitaangusha table.
Eka kando.
Don't stress
Wow,
me.
don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that in public.
But I agree, like when you have English, there's a way people expect you to behave.
there are things that are supposed to come like a natural to you.
Yeah.
I think one of the greatest things that I've had to learn, and this is very important, and there is a meme about it. If you find yourself on a buffet and you serve yourself food and you do not finish it, That says so much about you.
But then inakuanga embarrassing.
If you serve yourself on a buffet and you do not finish that food, that says a lot about you. It seems like you all have experiences.
No,
share some.
I don't have
It's the
any.
DISDAT podcast.
I don't have any experience to
Yeah.
that, but when I was a kid, we used to go to every December. We used to go to KCC for children's party. So after you've played throughout the day,
Zakaya siuze KICC.
Childhood memories.
Yeah, childhood memories.
after you play the mecheza, alafu inafika lunchtime, you go serve and all that. So definitely your kids, you're not going to be embarrassed. Then sometimes when I serve, so what you used to do, unapata, you guys will go get served. Then definitely kuntaka chipomo or something, just eat. You kuendea more. But you see, if it's a grown-ass person getting food, they can aseme ongeza. They'll be so open to kumongezea.
Yeah.
But kids mnaangaliwa like apana, you just go waste the food and all that.
Yeah.
So it used to be a thing. You've gone, you've served, umeka kidogo. Then you're like, that uncle of yours who made sure you've gone to that party. Mi nataka fries. Anakurudisha wewe na yeye kwa sahani kaka unaongezewa. So it used to be a thing. But I don't have any experience myself. But
Yeah.
I've ever gone somewhere, then someone is going to serve. Then they're coming with a plate. You're like, is there a next table that
Goja, ameweka Coke pande hii na ameweka Fanta pande hii kwa
when you look at the plate, you're
Yeah.
like, wow. Wow.
Wow.
It was one of those. It's just one of those.
Charlene?
Before I got classy, I was those people. And I know a pal of mine will relate. We ask you, when you go to buffet, you are serving. I remember there was one time.
Everything.
There was
3
one
pieces
time.
of chicken, 2 pieces of fish.
There's one time we were at Coast, and we were in this hotel. They were serving buffalo meat. I'm like,
Yeah.
buffalo meat.
Yeah.
And then I went and served every indigenous things I've never had.
Oh.
But I finished. But I don't know whether it's a bad mannerism I have. I will add dessert, but I will finish. So
No, dessert isn't bad. That's why it's on the menu.
food is embarrassing.
No, food is also not embarrassing. I am the kind, and this I learned the hard way. So I like there's some types of food that I like so much. So, but still in Kampala, I think it was a ceremony or something. So my aunt is a good cook. She taught me how to cook. So I'm a good cook too, and she makes this nice lunch. There's so many in the household that I grew in. We had a tendency of not only cooking one type food type. So if it's matoke, you will cook it with rice. If it's ugali, you will put some indigenous food or sweet potatoes or cassava. And funny thing, sometimes I'm alone in my house and I still do that. I will cook matoke and I will cook a bit of rice kando, so that and this is something that I think it's very important. I will also teach my kids. Yeah. So isiku wamepika sort of a buffet sort of setting, but to go home, Mandem was hungry and I served a lot of food. And I sat next to my uncle. I ate. Tumefika. But there is still a whole acre of food on the plate. That, my uncle asked me the very first time that I sat down with that plate. He was like, Okoshu unaenda kumaliza your food.
Were you hungry?
Yeah, I was hungry.
Okay.
But because all the foodstuffs that were cooked, they were my favorites. You get? So I just decided to put in everything. He asked me, Okoshu hiyo chakula utamaliza? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, kama utamaliza, rudisha some of it kabla uanze kufanya nini? Kuikula. I was like, can you keep quiet?
You underestimate
You underestimate the power of an hungry man.
Hungry man.
Yeah. So I sat down a quarter into that plate. I was like, so he saw me standing up. He was like, where? Have you ever started eating, like continued eating, you feel your stomach cannot take anymore?
Yeah.
And then your eyes start pouring. I literally started shaking and crying until that man was like, hey, I do not want to be responsible for your death. Rudisha hiyo chakula huko kwa jikoni. So ever since that day, I told myself, never ever. And actually, he taught me a lesson. He was like, ever when you find yourself in such a situation, serve what you can finish. Nobody will look at you in some type of way if you go back for a second serving.
But they will.
No, they will not.
It's in your head.
It's in your head. Thank you, KK. It's in your head. And every time now, when I started finding myself in such situations, I remember, may her soul rest in peace. I went for her wedding. One of my other aunties. My mom has, I think, 4 or 5 sisters thereabout. So aunties all over. I went to her wedding, and weddings, there are places that you get to enjoy food. Food is in plenty. So I go with my plate. I think I'm around 8, 9, 11, 12 thereabout, and I tell the guy, nieke chakula kidogo kidogo. It's like, kid, unajua hii ni ya mara moja. I'm like, yeah, even if I miss the second round, it's okay. I will come back. So I go for my first serving. I go eat everything. I clean everything. I make sure not to leave a single dent on that plate. Go back for the second round. He looks at me. It's like, oh. The guy smiled. I think he noticed something. And then the other thing so that is lesson number 1. The fine dining. Serve what you can finish, and make sure if it's really nice, then you can go back for second service. So the first serving, I use it as a testing waters. I will serve different portions of so many things. Like I'll take a piece of chapati, I'll take some rice. Definitely I will go to something that I'm more confident with. I'll take a bit of Irish potatoes, beans here, and a piece of kuku and all of that. And I'll sit down and I wipe it out. So whatever I felt was so sweet, if it's the mchele and the stew, that's what I will go back for second service. And I will not do a second round of everything. The other thing, I used to cook. When my aunt came back from work and very tired, she would not want to cook. It's either I cooked or we slept hungry. So this time I cook stew and I serve it. And when I was serving, soup sort of spilled on the borders and the edges of the plate. She looked at me and she did not eat that food, and she told me, do you want to kill me with hunger? If you ever serve me food na imetapaka, now in Kiganda, na imetapaka kila mahali, I will not eat. So she was so offended that I learned that lesson.
Okay.
That when you serve your plate, soup is not supposed to spill on the edges of the plate.
Kikuyu in the house, are we listening?
Yeah. So even in my house, sometimes when I serve food, I'm very deliberate. I wipe it off, so that the soup is.
And you're alone?
Yeah, and I'm alone.
Wow.
Bro, I learned that in school alone. In reality, things are different.
Yeah. So those are some of the skills that I've. And when somebody is looking at me, I learned to use a fork and a knife very early on in life. So that in party stress. And there's a crazy friend I used to. Yeah, I'm like, fanya hivi. Yeah. Those are some of the skills that I learned to accompany my English. Yeah.
So do we think that English now has to be accompanied by some sort of a class? You just can't.
Not necessarily class, Not necessarily class, but if you're going to portray that you're properly put together, then you can as well live to their expectations.
Walk the talk, literally.
Yeah, walk the talk. Yeah. My aunt always quipped that, Alan, you're not rich, but you have these tendencies that show as if you're very rich. And I adopted it. I quipped that I got the character of being rich before I got the money. So I am ready for the money.
Started from rich dad, poor dad.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
Interesting.
Do you have anything else to cover?
We did have things to cover, Candy.
Mbona director kufanya? Karibu mkono anakata na hana saa.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I don't think sijui ni kama this
anything that has been trending in Kenya,
alafu tuchukue ingine ama we just go with it.
Yeah.
We just we go with it.
Yeah, the trending ones.
Oh, Zari was telling us.
Zari, the
boss lady.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm not obligated to give you money.
I'm not what?
So lazima niwapatie pesa. It's not must. You coming and texting me using your bundles. You have used that bundles money to buy yourself food. Texting me ati help me with money for food I've not eaten for 3 days, and if you don't help me, God will not bless you. I'm already blessed that I'm here. Hey, it was one of those. Yeah, so that is what has been trending. I don't know what you think about that, because there's this other TikToker who came and was like, no, what you said was not right. Let's get to hear what she has to say. Some people don't have employment. What do you think?
Actually, I don't know if I will spoil the traction. This has reminded me, there is a video that has been trending on TikTok of a lady talking about guys who are in Mabati houses, but they have Wi-Fi.
Yes.
I think it has...
That was Kitambo.
Yeah, that is very Kitambo, but it's sort of giving me the same vibes. Yeah. Do I go in or you go in?
Go in.
Okay. You see, me... this is going to come off so wrong.
Feel free. Just be yourself. It's
And
okay.
I try to neutralize this knock.
I'm trying to be humble. Yeah, I'm trying to be... As a person who has been on the low end, kabisa, where I used to have ngumu and water for supper. Yeah, for those who do not know ngumu, they are these small mandazis that are made out of flour, and then they are
Super hard.
Ngumu, literally.
they're super hard.
At least this one we can relate.
And you drink that with water. Or KDF. You all know KDF, this big mandazi. As somebody who came from there, and as somebody who right now I can decide to skip a meal deliberately, not because I do not have money, but skip it deliberately, I have the right to say that y'alls who don't have money and are requesting for assistance from people who have money, you're not doing the right thing. And you kwanza castigating them that God will not bless me. And probably that is why he's not blessing you, because you are an ungrateful piece of human being. Where do you get... And there is also this thing that I've never understood, that just because you feel bad about me, that now that warrants God not blessing me.
Or something by happening.
Or something bad
Deputy
happening
Jesus
to me.
is.
It doesn't work like that. Probably Zari, the boss lady, could have been a little bit more humble.
No, she said it.
She said
maybe
it
I'm
nicely.
exaggerating
No, she said it
it,
nicely.
but she said it so well.
Nicely, yeah.
She put it clear.
I agree with that.
But also, if you're prone to helping, somebody would ask, what is making you not help this time round? You know, when you're used to doing something, people will be like, then you have an abundance. Yeah, like somebody would come, I want to borrow money from me, and I'm like, no, I don't have money. They're like, just tell me you don't want to give me money. You get why you say you don't have money. But then probably you are at the last meter, pure on a drop off. Yeah, but y'alls who are asking for assistance from people, do it with a lot of humility. Yeah, without a lot of expectations.
I think people are entitled. Some people are entitled to the money that rich people have. Just because you have to help. Why are you not helping? Why are you taking that money? You know, that's the thought process they have. And also, when someone has something that you don't have, sometimes it's a combination of jealousy and anger.
Yeah.
Like, you have what I need. For you, it's not a need. For me, it's a need. For you, it's a want.
Yeah.
Get the difference? And that's entitlement. Because I remember I was watching, I don't know whether you guys have seen the story of this girl who was standing outside a mall, didn't join Pangani High School. And then ilikuwa posted, I think, on Nairobi Gossip, and the girl actually got help from netizens.
She posted asking for help in school.
Yeah. And I remember KRG was splashing money somewhere, and then a comment was like, instead of splashing this money, why don't you go and pay school fees for that girl who doesn't have school fees? I feel like it's just coming from a point of entitlement and a point of you're seeing someone enjoying something you so need, and they're enjoying it in the manner that you don't deem fit to be enjoyed. You get?
Then you want to limit them.
Yeah, because
it's my money, I will spend it how I want.
Sure.
Mic drop. I'm done.
I feel like what she actually said was, you'll come text me and you need money for food. I help you with money for food for today. Then what happens tomorrow? You go to the next celebrity. What do you do? You see, you'll get to ask yourself that question. And I remember this clip which was trending. I think it was a story time or something, when this guy shared, I met this guy on the street. He's a street guy. Asking for money for food. For me, I've not eaten for I don't know how long. So I took out 500 shillings and gave it to them. So you happen to bump into the same person the next day or something. And then you are like, yo, can you account for me how you got to spend the 500 shillings? then they get to account. So apparently, I don't know, he used 200 aliendea shot moja or something. I'm sure you're getting it or something.
Short.
Yeah.
Short ya kupigwa na stima.
Short. Like, if you get it, you get it. Aliendea shot
You
moja.
tell us, we are reaching different demographics.
Aliendea shot moja like mbili. Then I guess
Alcohol
kwa
shot,
hiyo-
y'all.
No. That other shot, guys. She can
Okay.
Anyway, so and kwa hiyo account yote he actually had a meal for 50 bob. Ukisikiza vizuri 200 went
For 50
ya 50 bob
for 50 bob.
chakula kwa hiyo as in okay give me how you got to spend the money 200 gone shot
Okay.
baki na tatu sijui 50 bob fulani alisaidia bishti yake then 50 bob ingine alikula then there's a way early account but ukiangalia you actually needed money for food. I've given you 500 shillings
For food.
you're not going to eat 500 because you ended up eating chakula yenye ilikugharimu 50 bob na hiyo pesa ingine you used it for other things which I related so well to what Zari the boss lady was saying. You come, you're asking for something from the celebrities. So kubaya, if you're texting them, you have a phone that is a smartphone maybe.
No, you cannot send an Instagram message on a kabambe. It's definitely
Thank you.
that's smart.
You have a smartphone.
Yeah.
You've bought bundles, for example, you're using Wi-Fi somewhere. And then you're telling this person you've not taken hujakula for all these days. For example, nakutumia pesa ya leo. Kesho kutwa, what do you do? And then what was kwa hiyo statement yote, what I took was that level of entitlement. Like, if you don't, God will not. Or
Bless
what will as in, and all that. So like, and that was what was pissing her off. The fact that you're actually bringing it na yo, if you don't, then this will happen. Who are you to say what will happen next? And funny thing, I've seen this thing also trending in deaf community. People like, I'm warning you. If you are there borrowing money, you see this thing of people as like, I'm bashing you now. It's in the community, it's so small. So anything posted can really trend easily.
Okay.
So it's like people are putting it out there. There's this particular person who has this tendency of borrowing money. I hear you again coming to borrow money from, because I feel like tumekuwa kwa hiyo hard economic time when you're just mad. Why are you borrowing me? Tuna jam, sina do. Yeah, but I came to realize this time I was so broke. Then someone commented something like, "Pesa wewe," is like, I don't know. I think my mind was so far, and then they commented like, "Nikama I've not said hi because nikama unarengo kona do." Then I felt super offended. I was super mad.
Yeah, broke people are always offended.
I was super mad because your time for me not even to see you and even remember saying hi. I was so much thinking of, okay, what do I do right now?
How do I get money?
Niko hapo mchini and
you
I
see-
can't do anything. Then you actually telling me nikana ringa juu ya pesa. It was one of those.
Broke is not bad. Right now I'm broke. I'm not poor.
True.
You get, so being broke is not bad. Broke, you are in just that state at that particular moment, but you might be in the process of making 100 mil. Yani kuna tu mahali tu pesa yake imekwama tu mahali. Yeah. There is something that I was thinking about while we are having this conversation, and fortunately it seems like it has escaped me. Yeah. So I don't know.
Since you're speaking about money, can money buy happiness? From people who are now rich from being broke to ghost.
Can money buy happiness? Money. If I will answer the best way possible. If money can't buy you happiness,
Then
you don't know where to shop.
Some people say then you don't have enough.
No, there is that aspect, but if money can buy you happiness, then you just don't know where to shop. I think the beautiful thing about me, how I look at money, and I've also remembered the question, me, how I look at money to me, I look at it as an enabler that enables me to do things that I was not able to do initially. Not to flash it out, not to show people that I have money, but though my tendencies have always they oftenly come off of as I'm showing off that I have this, but that is just my temperament. That is just who I am. But the good thing with money, there's an Indian lady that stood with me, or that has stood with me in my hard times, and she's like, Alan, you cannot pour from an empty cup here. Sometimes you have to fill your cup, then you are able to pour into other cups. So if you do not, so literally let's look at money as the cup that is full. So you cannot help other people if you do not have that particular money. Yeah. And I think it's only broke people who do not have enough money that are not willing to help others. But if you feel you're coming from a place of abundance, and I'm not attacking anybody, if you feel that you're coming from a place of abundance, then helping people shouldn't be a biggie. Yeah, shouldn't be a biggie. My question was, there is this notion of non-tithing in church these days. How do you all tithe these days? Because it's a money thing, and also it's a religion sort of thing. First of all, do we all go to church?
I do.
I stopped.
I also stopped at some point.
There's somebody on Sunday was in church.
I do, but I came to realize of late I'm going to church for the wrong reason. Don't ask me what reason, miss. I'll tell you
Make
behind
money.
the scene. Wow.
You go to church to make money. So if we all don't, if you go to church for the wrong reasons, you no longer go to church, I no longer go to church. How do you all tithe?
You see,
What do you mean how? Financially, or like, do you use money to tithe? Is that a question?
That's sort of a question, because I believe when I believe it's still your responsibility to give, and it is expected in our traditional setting.
Why are you saying it like that? Like,
Because
you don't subscribe to it anymore?
It is not really our traditional setting. It was impressed upon us, but that would take us down a rabbit hole.
Yes.
Yeah. In that particular setting, that is how we're told that we have to tithe to feel like we are connected to God, and that tithe is supposed to go to a particular person, to a particular house, and put in a particular basket. Yeah.
tell us how you type. Tell us how you type.
There was a time I was debating between taking the money physically to church, or I just go to a children's home and buy things worth that amount of money.
That's what I'm asking. Yeah. Which are some of the mechanisms? Because I've realized many people just decided, okay, chill with this religion thing. Let me just be spiritual. Yeah. And I think that is the point that I also find myself in. 5 a.m. whenever I wake up, the first type of music that I play, gospel music. Yeah. And that allows me to be in my spiritual moment as I do what I'm doing, as I move left, right, and center in my house. I am I am connecting with my creator, quote unquote. So I feel, and this takes me back to that TB Joshua conversation that we had, and the likes of the TD Jakes of the world, that I do not really need to go into that space for me to feel like I am giving back. I do not really need to go into church to tithe when I can do it in my own way. So Kelly, when she was sharing a story of that person that was given 500 and he spent 200 on a shot, there is I think I'm very soft. Yeah, I am walking. I am from having lunch, and I'm walking. I'm listening to my music, and this guy is walking, and he taps on me. I decide to give him my attention. And he's like, "Hey manze bro, niaje? Hey manze, leo ni kubaya. Nimetafuta kitu, and actually you could literally see him, and you're like, hey, huyu mzee yana anakame ame trek, and he's like, okay, nisaidia tu na yote tu yenye utanipatia itaniokorea, niko na mtoi nini. I know, and with my awareness I'm like, huyu mzee anakupima. You get, huyu mzee anakupima. But then now my spiritual part is, it's like, I have a very silly spiritual part. It's like, what if you're the last person that this person has to speak to until they make their next stupid decision? So in that particular sense, I'm like, okay, cool. Then what do you want me to do for you? It's like, hata ukinipatia tu 200 nikirudi kwa nyumba manze wife asinione fogodhari. I have a child to feed and all of that. So I sent him 500 sock. He goes, And he's like, I think hata kwenye alikuwa naenda kuenda sasa. Alirudi kwenye alikuwa natoka. So he called me after 2 days. And he's like, hey bro, thank you very much. The money that you sent me did X, Y, and Z. And he's like, this is the last time that I'm going to call you. I went stuck in shina nikiomba. Nilikuwa napikaga mayai. Nibaie tu tray ya mayai tu peke yake. Then tafanya nini? Tajisort. And I'm like, tray ya mayai ni pesa ngapi? It's like, it's this much. Wakinibaia 2, nitashukuru. Tashukuru. I'm like, sasa hata umeweka conditions, sasa unataka kubaiwa ngapi? So I'm like, I hung up. I'm like, yeah, nitaona. I never tell people nitakutumia. I'm like, I will see what I will do. And 2-3 hours pass by, and he nudges me again. I'm like, cool, 1,000 bob. What is that? At that particular moment, what is 1,000 bob?
Yeah, 1,000 bob to some people is...
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I'm not downplaying it,
okay.
But I'm like, now I'm the kind of person who thinks like, if I spend this, where is the next 1,000 bob going to come? And this is how I justify it to myself while I'm giving. It would be easier for me and quicker to make 1,000 bob extra than for them. So I can give it to them so that it can help them. I send him the 1,000 bob, and mysteriously one day somebody sends me 2K out of nowhere. And I'm like, probably ni mtu nilikopesha do. And I call this guy and he's like,
the fact that you think it's not a wrong transaction.
Yeah, no. In my situation with wrong transaction.
Like someone sent you money mistakenly.
I've never been sent money mistakenly too.
Proceed.
Yeah, they always look at that name probably and they're like, no, this is not the guy that I'm supposed to send.
Okay.
Yeah, probably Mzako committee. So this guy sends me 2K. I'm like, I call them and they're like, hey bro, asante sana, my kabesa ena kafiti nini ndio nionyeshe nilikuwa mse genuine, nimeamua tu nikubaie chai. I was like,
wow,
hola. And that has always impressed on me. It not impressed on me like to do it. It sort of validated why I do what I do in terms of, yes, on msana anaweza kuitisha do atumie the wrong reason, but mse mwingine anaweza kutumia do na that is the last thing that okimpatia ndiye tamsave throughout the entire it might be of a profound moment to them, that it might change their life. So yeah, that is my small story of how I give, and that's how often I don't take my money to the man in a white cloth.
Okay.
Yeah.
For me recently, actually it's on Sunday,
so if you all said your Kevin Hart fans, yeah, there is a special that he did.
Kevin Hart fan
somehow.
Oh, they did say that.
What did
We
you
know
say?
him. You asked,
said
do you know Kevin Hart?
Oh,
Yeah, we know.
Okay, I mistook that for you being his fan.
No.
There is a special that he did. No, it's not Kevin Hart, it's Chris Rock. He said that sometimes when you feel you're very low, you help people on the road so that God can see, so that they can sort of reward you in a bounty way. And it's like, oh God, look at me, I'm giving this poor man $20. I need $1,000 back. And it's like, you all need to stop tithing, like helping people like that, saying that if I give $20, then it is going to come back
like a return on investment.
Yeah, like a return on investment. It's like, your God does not work like that.
Yeah. On Sunday, my takeaway from the sermon, the whole relationship with God is personal. And I think why people go wrong with the whole religion thing is you start to have that mentality aspect with religion, with Christianity. I've always known that it's personal. For me, there's a verse in the Bible, allow me to preach, that says,
Preach!
Test me with your giving. It's in, I don't remember the book, but test me with your giving. And then I will answer a question about bringing it to church specifically. The Bible says, bring 10% of your, what's the name of your?
No, annex.
Is it earnings? No, because nikienda shags, some people bring kuku, mahindi, not necessarily money, to the house of the Lord. Yeah. And for me, that informs why I take it to church. And sometimes you look at like, "Nyie mko sure mnatumia pesa vizuri ama I'm just wasting my money," you know. And that's where the aspect of it being personal comes in. I look at what God has done for me. And I look at the 10% rule. I'm like, it's the least I can do for God, because it's personal. It's me and
But
Him.
why has it? Okay, Pandora's box. Yeah. Continue.
Yeah. What am I confused? I wanted to address the church thingy. Like, why do you have to practice religion? You can just be spiritual. There's a verse in Romans that
Wow.
Which girl?
Verse 4 mstari wa 7.
that
I think Mr. Producer, that's why you put in that baba ni mkulima stuff.
It doesn't it's not like a 10 commandment rule to go to church, but it says it is good for the people of God to converge and to worship together. I think that's where more than two have converged, then I am in their presence. Okay, that's another verse.
Sort of vibe. Yeah, I know a couple of verses.
I see it trying to show that.
There is somebody who cracked their ribs about my understanding of church. Yeah, and the Bible.
Yeah.
I'm not about to crack those ribs again.
So for me, there's a point I was like, I don't think you guys are using that money well. Yeah. So I was
But
like,
then they say, you, as long as you've given, God remembers that.
You see?
Leave that to them.
yeah. But my base for giving in it's just personal. It's just me and God.
Yeah.
It's just me and God. It's personal for me.
Keke, as we're winding it up. Wine selector.
Wow.
Of me, I don't know if you guys know this comedian who's also a pastor. Amekuwa in Churchill Show and everything. So he always says it. Hii pesa yenye mnatoa inakuanga itumike na pasta. Sijaenda nimeambia Mungu ndo hii pesa itakuja na parachute ama na ndege leo. No. Ati nimekuletea. No. At the end of the day, it never does that.
But funny thing, there is something funny I learned about the faith, You see all that money that is tithed in the Christian church, some of it finds its way back to the Vatican. Yeah.
The Vatican.
Yeah.
Oh, this is for the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't know the Vatican?
No, I do.
Oh.
You see,
You old Gen Zs don't know a lot of things.
Come on, we know the knowledge we have. I think it also depends on the church you go to.
You always go to CITAM then.
No, me, I'm a Presbyterian. I'm in one of those traditional churches. Yeah.
PCEL.
Hizo sasa.
Oh.
For us, when you say pesa inatumika na pastor, the tradition I've seen from growing up, because I've been in the same church all through. Is that women wanatoanga pesa ya chakula ya pastor. They give pastor the food. What's funny? What's funny?
We're going to open a Pandora's box on this one. It's going to seem like we just started.
And it's not a rule. It's that the women took it upon themselves to be like, we will be supporting. Why what's funny?
Just like the women in the Bible supported Jesus Christ, yeah?
Can you explain religion?
So let me finish up with the pastor. What he was saying, and he was actually saying, as much as I'm a pastor, I won't go to a shop that actually sells suits and tell them, mimi ni mchungaji, nitakupea baraka, nipatie hii suti. No. At the end of the day, he actually has to give money for him to get that kind of suit. So at the end of the day, kuna hizo vitu ndogo ndogo lazima tuangalie, as much as you're talking of believing and giving, and sometimes we tend, you actually are unajiuliza but uko like, ama ni dhambi pia kujiuliza hivi. Let me just go with it, because the 10% rule is there. We actually know it. We've actually been taught about it. Now, you've actually quoted us a verse that is saying we're supposed to bring it to the church.
The house of the Lord.
Yeah. Kumanisha, at the end of the day, even when we use this 10% for other things, is it just not serving the same purpose?
No, that's a big question.
If I give that money to the person mwenye anataka kuweka nini, that because he says your bodies is my temple. Your body is my temple. So
You want
if
to
I
take
give
that again?
when you put it like that, you're like actually justifying.
yeah, so if I give this money to somebody who not desperately, but who needs it so that they can push themselves to some level, I'm worshiping basically.
And you're right, because there's a verse that says visiting the poor and the orphans and is a better service. You're right.
So I'm religious
Sawa.
from a different perspective, as I am making my last point. Yeah.
And I sound kama walimu na lecturers as you wind up.
I am not into I do not subscribe to what is it gospel, that sort of prosperity gospel, if you all know what I mean.
Yeah.
But I like how is it Pius Mwiru, how he looks at how he approaches his gospel and his preaching. And I think there is also a famous Nigerian who's like the top-notch preacher from Nigeria right now.
Salman.
Yeah,
Dr. Salman.
yeah,
Salman.
yeah, Salman. Yes. They come from a philosophy of, just because you're a man of God, it does not mean that you do not participate in entrepreneurship. So that sort of disqualifies the aspect that mimi nikiena suti sitanunua na mdomo, lazima nipatiane pe. Then it is not supposed to be the responsibility of your congregants to give you that money to go. You can as well remember the story of the gifts. You, even before he gave you the gift of preaching, there is another gift that he gave you, so you can go out there and toil and make something for yourself, so that when you come to church to preach, you're not actually it's them placing expectations onto their congregants that they are supposed to take care of me. That is selfish. That is selfish. And that's where I would end it.
Okay, I think one time maybe we could have a pastime and we have these conversations.
Yeah,
controversial.
There is somebody that we know, and pretty soon we'll be starting to invite guests. So yeah.
So if you're a pastor and you're watching, we'd like to have you on board.
Being the ghost.
Candy in the building.
I'm Charlene. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel,
and
share
thank you for those
with
views.
your friends.
Yeah, thank you for those views.
You are
let's
amazing.
do it again. Let's do it again.
Yeah.
DISDAT.